Turkey Alice Sheik has did a press conference in New York for the next card that's going to be on, and I believe it's in July 12th. You got Edgar Belanga, Shiroz, you got Shakur Stevenson, Sepeda. You have Matias versus Puello. You even have David Morrell on that card. They just did a press conference for just the two main events. Turkey, made a phone call,
Mm.
and he was talking about that this event means so much for the future of boxing. And while stating that, he was saying that these are the fights that are going to be led. The winner of Belanga and Shiraz could fight Canelo Alvarez, and then the winner of Shakur Stevenson and William Sepeda should be fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Calls. What's your thoughts on just that whole per se theme act that they just did yesterday?
It sound good, It sound good. I would love to see the winner of Sepeda and Shakur fight Tank,
Right.
but I already seen Canelo and Belanga, so
Right.
I really don't want to see that one again.
What do you believe Belanga beat Shiraz?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I might be wrong, but I think he'll beat him.
What you see in the little press conference, you feel like Shiraz kind of like fear him a little bit?
Yeah, you know how you look at somebody. I mean, you really can't judge a book by its cover, but the way he looked to me, like he kind of like shy. You know what I mean? But I might
Yeah.
be wrong. He might come out and do his thing.
Right. He'll be moving up a weight division as well to even,
Right.
fight Belanga. So you feel like he's probably just a little too light?
Yeah, I just don't see him doing nothing to Belanga.
Mm. Mm.
You know.
Now, yeah, I'm with you on that. I feel like the winner of that should fight perhaps the winner of like Charlo and Caleb.
Now, if he come out and run through Belanga and Canelo couldn't do it, then he should fight Canelo.
Yeah,
And that's different.
right.
But other than that, I don't see it.
Um, Ring Magazine rankings come up, right? And they got the number one 135 lightweight Gervonta Tank Davis on there. Lots of people had lots to say, from Shakur Stevenson to Keyshawn Davis. But another thing, looking at the list, they had Keyshawn at number two and Shakur at number three. What's your thoughts on the rankings itself, the Ring
I
Magazine?
think the rankings is about right. Tank is number one, and I think Keyshawn is fighting better. Quality opponents than Shakur.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's about right.
okay. So you like that? You like the rankings
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that they put out? Um, Also, Mike Carpenter. You know,
But but
um,
but let me
yep,
but Abdullah's still my number two lightweight. I'm just saying that the rankings for what Ring Magazine did is okay. Yeah,
right.
that's cool. That's cool.
So we
Wow.
got here Gervonta Davis at number one, Keyshawn at number two, Shakur Stevenson at number three, William Sepeda at number four, Raymond Morataya at number five, Andy Cruz at number six, Frank Martin at number seven, uh, Dennis Baranchek at number eight, Tevin Farmer number nine, and Sam Nukas number 10.
They got
So
they
no
got it
no
right to their
Abdullah
opinion.
Mason in there.
I say they got it right to their opinion, but Abdullah Mason should be number two.
Okay. Okay, but other than that, you like these you like the rankings. You like how
Yeah,
they
it's
got.
cool. It's
Okay,
cool.
what's your thoughts on Keyshawn Davis? Just finally becoming a champion in his last bout and being ranked number two, while Shakur Stevenson is a three division champion.
I he accomplished more, but I think the fans like the fights better and the opponents that they face better than they do the accomplishments. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And do you feel like that's what he's also trying to represent as well when it comes down to putting these rankings the way they are?
Yeah, I think so. More the fights than the accomplishments. You know.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, Coach, let me ask you, what would you feel like if they implemented a rule that if you are moving around in boxing without throwing a single blow for, a certain amount of time, you get like perhaps like a penalty or a warning first and then a penalty or something, like a point taken off after, if to benefit the sport, because people want to say that the sweet science of boxing is, get hit but not get hit, but there's not a lot of hitting going on in last Fatal Fury card.
I don't think you can force somebody to fight outside of their style, but if they not doing, if they not entertaining people, just kind of like take some of their pay.
Mm.
If you're a boxer, box your ass off. If you're a banger, bang your ass off. You know what I mean?
So when they put out the Ring magazine, list, Shakur puts out, y'all watching the hate, it's okay though. We gonna prevail through it all. Let's do it. And that's my brother. Y'all can't make me go against him. Do you feel like Keyshawn Davis at number 2 do you think that that's what they're trying to do? Are they trying to put Shakur and him against each other by doing stuff like that?
I don't think so. They said they'll never fight each other, but eventually, man, they might have to. You know, they might have to, or somebody will move out the weight class.
Right.
But I think Keyshawn is ahead of Shakur. You
Is
know,
that Shakur?
he moving fast. He fight when he get in the ring. He do fight. You know, that's what people want to see. Keyshawn do fight. You
Yep.
know, he fight.
Then I believe Keyshawn also responded to the Ring Magazine rankings as well. I think he said, I appreciate the Ring making me number 2, but I am a realist. I shouldn't be at number 2, and a lot of those guys don't even belong up there. I'm going to be the greatest of all time. So it's all this is petty ranking stuff I overlook.
Everybody, I agree with him in a sense. Everybody got their like the ring. That's their opinion. That ain't the world's opinion. You know,
Yeah.
ESPN. That's their opinion. That's not the world's opinion. Everybody got their own biased opinion for whatever reason it is. You know,
Hmm.
they should have somebody come out with a hood ranking.
Okay.
Let the hood rank the fight. It'll be totally different. You know what I mean? Everybody got their own biased opinion.
He said a hood ranking.
The hood ranking. Come out with a hood boxing magazine. What the streets think. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
What the streets think, that'll be the best rankings right there ever in the history of boxing.
Tell me what did you think about the press conference yesterday?
I didn't see the whole one because I'll be at the gym. I come home and I catch clips and so I didn't see the whole press conference.
What about just Shakur and Sepeda just facing off itself, them
Yeah,
being
yeah,
like kind of
um,
like same height?
yeah. I thought Shakur was way taller than Sepeda, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think Shakur gonna outbox Sepeda. Yeah, I mean Sepeda gonna stalk him, but Shakur's skills. The best thing Shakur ain't gotta look for him. He gonna be right in Shakur's face, and Shakur can do what he do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He can do what he do. He gonna be in Shakur's face constantly, like more than anybody ever been. Some people they get in Shakur's face, but they do it in spurts. You know what I mean? This guy, if he fight the way he's been fighting, he gonna be constantly on Shakur. So Shakur got to be in the best shape to box 12 rounds. Box
Yeah.
12 rounds. I think Shakur outboxed him though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Sepeda as a big puncher. Some people say he is, but I don't see it.
Right. But Shakur's not a big puncher either.
No, Score gonna box the shit out of Sepeda.
Right. You think he can stop him?
No,
Nah.
no. He had lesser opponents than Sepeda and didn't stop him, but I think he'll outbox him though. Now, if he do stop him, that'd be a huge, big surprise, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a big surprise. But I got him out. I'll bet on Shakur for the decision though.
Entertaining, boring fight.
Um, because it's Sepeda pressure, it's gonna be entertaining. He come a bit harder, so Shakur got to do something, you know.
Yeah.
He got to work. He gonna force Shakur to work.
Do you feel like that's the reason why Shakur has said yesterday that, he's going to show everybody, like, his best performance up to date because that guy's going to bring it out of him?
Yeah, he got to. If he fight the way he normally fight, Shakur got to work. You know,
Hmm.
it's gonna be an entertaining fight
Do you feel like there would be, do you feel like he would feel like, would this be the toughest fight in his resume, you think?
on paper.
On
Shakur,
paper and his resume so far? Because,
um,
Tank has a lot to say about Shakur's resume. Mike
I
Carpenter has, basically
yeah,
said that,
I
Shakur's
think
resume as a lightweight is not
I think
necessarily
it'd
at
be
the par as Tank's is.
I think it'd be his best toughest opponent on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think so. Next to Santos.
Which is Keyshawn is going to be facing June 7th in his hometown.
That's gonna be a hell of a fight because Keyshawn ain't gonna run. They
Right.
they're gonna trade some serious shots, but I think Keyshawn to give him. If I'm mistaken, Santos was off for 2 years with an injury or something. So I don't know if if he's gonna be sharp. You know,
Hmm.
he might be, but he been off for 2 years, so time will tell. But I think Keyshawn to get him.
You think Keyshawn will stop him?
I don't know about stopping, but he'll beat him. It's a possibility. I don't know what type of injury I know he had an injury or something, so I don't know what type of injury he had. You know.
De Los Santos, listening to him talking, I'm going to be doing an interview with him this week, but he says that if he clips Keyshawn Davis, it's over for him because Keyshawn has been clipped before and has had survival mode, and the guys that he's been clipped has not even been close to the punching power that De Los
When he
Santos.
say clip,
I
don't.
believe, I think Albright, the guy that actually Keyshawn's brother's going to be fighting on that same card.
Mm,
He clipped Keyshawn. Keyshawn instantly clinched him right
yeah,
away, and that was the first time I feel like people have seen Keyshawn quote unquote hurt.
yeah.
Um,
It
right.
come with it come with a. I mean,
And the guy is cracking. Like I was talking to Brian Norman
mm,
Jr., and
mm,
he said that I'm put this on record, Mills, and I said not just Tank is the hardest person I've been punched. That's the punching power.
mm,
De Los Santos is with Tank on that in that punching power,
right,
status, and he's been in there with Ennis, Crawford. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Charles Conwell. So he's been in there with big guys, and
right.
he's saying that these smaller guys are punching harder than those guys.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that because sometimes when I work with guys in the gym with the bodysuit on, sometimes the smaller guys hit harder than the big guys.
It's like
Yeah,
a pin, it's like a stabbing pin needle.
yeah, yeah. I definitely understand what he's saying. But time will tell, man. That's gonna be a good fight. What's the date on that fight?
June 7th, Newark.
Oh, shit, right around the corner.
Yep. Yep. It's going to be an intense fight. Abdullah Mason's also having a nice step up himself. You know, he's going to be fighting Nakatilia, another former opponent of Shakur Stevenson on that card. Shakur feels like there's a lot of hating going on for him, you know, when it comes down to like Top Rank and, you know, Mike Carpenter. I seen that, you know, he pretty much dissed Mike Carpenter. Like, you're
I
pretty
I
horrible at your job.
I read
And this is
something.
your third take right now.
I read something where they said Shakur ducked his. What do you say? He ducked his class. Then the baby's coming behind him is about to bypass him. It was something to that effect. You know,
Who said that?
it was an article that somebody put on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah. So time to
What's your,
tell.
what's your thoughts on that?
I understand what they're saying. A lot of people he could have fought this far that he didn't fight yet. And then you got Abdullah Mason, and you got guys coming up behind him in the weight class. And we'll see if he'll fight them eventually. You know,
Right. So, also, while he was doing interviews in the press, I also seen that, somebody asked about, how does he feel if Tank gets the Jake Paul fight, and Shakur said that if he's not fighting me, it's disrespectful to the sport. If he took a Jake Paul fight, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's disrespectful to the sport. What are they supposed to sit and wait? Both of them was signed with PBC at once. They could have fought then. You know what I'm saying?
When was that they were signed? They were both signed
I
to
thought
PBC.
I thought Shakur was with PBC one time. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, no, no. Shakur was he signed right from Top Rank, I believe.
Oh, I thought he had an opportunity to go with PBC or something.
No, I believe he had an opportunity.
Yeah, he
He
could have.
had offers and stuff like that.
Yeah, he could have fought them.
Um,
He don't dictate. But yeah, that if that Jake Paul fight gonna put money in your pocket, get the money. Shit.
do you feel like the rematch with Lamont Roach will generate more money than a Shakur Stevenson fight with Tank?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I
Because
mean,
his
you guys broke record. Oh, go ahead.
because no disrespect to Shakur, but the world seen his last 2 or 3 performances. So they would rather see the rematch between Tank and Roach than to see that again.
Because we put you on
Now,
stage
if Shakur come
already.
out, if he come out and blaze Sepeda, now you can talk. If he
Ooh.
blaze Sepeda, shit, now people eyebrows gonna go up. But if he come out against Sepeda with the same lackluster performance, they gonna say, "Oh man," you know. I'm just. But I think Shakur gonna beat Sepeda.
Mm.
But if he don't, the critics gonna get him.
Who do you feel like is the A side B side in that situation? Because like obviously Turk, they're doing a lot of work with Eddie Hearn, but also in the same token a lot with Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, that
I
that
think
uh Ring Magazine belt was his at one moment in time and sold it to Turkey Al Sheikh.
I think Shakur the A side.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Shakur the A side. Sepeda ain't look too good his last couple of performances either. Kind of wide. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Not. Yeah, I think Shakur the A side.
Got dropped a couple times from
Yeah,
Farmer as well.
yeah,
Not necessarily a big puncher. But
right.
do you feel like Farmer punches harder than Shakur?
Nah, about the same.
Nah. Oh, so
He take more chances than Shakur though.
he takes more chances than
Yeah,
Shakur?
yeah. He'll stand there with you. He was
Oh.
right there with Sepeda a few times.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times. I don't see Shakur standing there with Sepeda. He just gonna box the shit out of him for 12 rounds. If he stay inside, it'll be a surprise.
Mm, mm. This is gonna be that's gonna be a very interesting fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Because
think that should be the main event, though.
oh yeah, you think
Yeah,
they should?
yeah. Support Shakur Sepeda because that should be the main event.
Mm.
Yeah,
They were saying because of the excitement of Edgar Belanga, the punching power of him and Shiroz, that and they, always in boxing, they always like people want to see big guys fight each other.
I like punches too, but I don't. But Belanga's not one of those guys that. Well, he knock people out, but he don't attack you constantly. Like he don't. He don't
He's not
stalk.
like a real pressure fighter. You're
Yeah,
saying?
he don't stalk you, but he can punch though.
Mm.
You got a puncher that's coming and stalk you. That shit bring excitement.
But tell me, like, do you feel like that fight per se is not gonna go the distance?
I think Belanga will get him out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the late rounds.
Then it would have to be Belanga and Caleb to earn that Canelo fight, right?
Man, that's gonna be a fight with the animosity plant
Yeah.
in Belanga. I want.
Cause the way cause you know how Canelo is. You start talking shit on the podcast about him, he might not give you a chance. And Belanga's popping that mouth. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah. Shit gonna be crazy.
So he probably be like, fight somebody. You guys both lost to me. You guys deal with it. Cause
Hmm.
you know Caleb's been talking about very adamant about the rematch with Canelo as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I would love to see that. He was boxing. He was boxing pretty good in that fight.
yeah.
I didn't
Oh
like. I didn't like the talking he was doing though. Here, it's some
yeah.
round. Like,
Or yeah, because I forgot. And that's if, Charlo is ready, because if Charlo's ready, he'll fight Caleb, next. And then
yeah,
maybe we'll see Mungia and Edgar, and then the winners of those two guys fight each other to fight Canelo.
that's a good fight. McGee and Belanga.
Yeah, Mexico versus Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
It'll be
that's a
big.
good fight.
It'll be big.
Everybody wants to see the Charlo and Plant fight as well because
Mm-hmm.
that happened a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. 100%. 100%. Who like you would have to wait. I would probably say I would wait to see how Charlie look coming back
Yeah,
to dictate what you would think would happen against a Charlo and Caleb Plant fight.
yeah. If he'd been in the gym working, I think he will look pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you rather see him fight one than Plant.
yeah. Um, but nevertheless, now that we was talking about Mike Carpenter and how uh how Shakur Stevenson was dogging him out in that interview, um, he also stated that August 16th, the rematch of Lamont Roach and Tank Davis in Vegas. Now, I know you're going to say if it's not PBC, if it's not the fighters, it's not true. But what you think about the actual date itself? Do you feel like that's a great date?
Yeah, if that was his date, yeah, that's a great time.
Back in Vegas?
Yeah, that's a good time and place.
Do you feel like the rematch needs to be in Vegas?
It could be anywhere. I wish it was on this side though,
Tell me why.
because both of them from over this on this side.
Yeah.
They neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do it in the neutral zone because there's animosity between DC and Baltimore might kick off.
Yeah.
So you do it away from both states and
Yeah.
let them work.
It's gonna be good, man. I like it. I talked to Roach's pops, senior, and they're really excited.
Yeah,
How's you guys' relationship after the
man. Listen, they good peoples, man.
Mhm.
Good people, always been good people. I talked to Roach Senior a few times since they fought because I was trying to get Miz last opponent on the card, but the card was already made. Yeah,
Is it different that you know that you're gonna have to go to war again?
Is it different?
Yeah, a little different. Like just knowing that you got to go to war again.
I mean, it's business, you know.
Yeah.
No animosity. I mean, it's boxing business. But
Wait.
the second fight, yeah, it's always better than the first fight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um. Tell me. Do you feel like this? Do you feel like they'll do good as far as preparing the card itself? Because the card before was great. We had Antoine Russell on that card. It was a good card. Do you feel like the card per se is going to be solid?
I think if uh Tank and Roach have some say, it'll be a great. It's gonna be a great card, real great card.
Coach, I interviewed Tank's only sparring partner for the Roach first fight. Um, I forget his name. I'm sorry for I think it's like Gabriel. He's a Latino.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
right. I interviewed him. He told me he was the only sparring partner. Now he's considered a quote unquote prospect. People were asking me in the comments, "Hey Mills, ask Kenny why would they only have a prospect only for sparring partner for Lamont Roach?"
Um, I can't answer that. I don't know what their strategy was. You know, I kind of knew. I stayed in I mind my business. You know, so that's something you might have to ask them. You
Okay,
know,
okay. Do you feel like this camp might be a little bit different than the last camp?
I don't know what you know. I don't know what Tank is going to do yet, but every camp is different. You know, every camp is different. If you different people, if you're working with different people, you know.
Mm-hmm. 100%. No, 100%. Yeah, I was actually talking to Coach Calvin yesterday, and he was saying the same thing. Um, do you feel like now that you know, all everyone's like being able to like, there's no like across the street anymore. Like, do you feel like that's the truth? Do you feel like people can make these big fights like how we have like Canelo and Crawford now, and do you feel like we'll be able to like I don't know per se. Do you feel like boxing is in a better place because of it?
Um, I still think it's across the street, but if they can do business together, it'll be better. To make the fights happen that people want to see. You know.
Mm, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
The
Tell me
sides.
what was that?
I said sides coming together. You know.
Right, right. Um, tell me, what do you think about the rematch? When you think about this rematch, though, what do you see?
Both of the, like I said, they both at, top of the game. I see a competitive fight, nice, clean, crispy shots like the first fight. You know.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't speak on what I seen, but the fight will be different.
Right, because you could strategize and do different things.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be different.
What do you feel like Lamont Roach is really good in? Like, do you feel like his inside game is probably like underrated? What do you feel
I
like his
think
best attribute is?
Lamar can do a little bit of everything, man. He always been like that since he was a kid, you know. Good
Yeah.
fighter, top amateur, top pro, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, great pedigree, man. Great team of people, great family, you know. He can do a little bit of everything.
What's your thoughts on that video going viral of him at a hockey game with the Corona just jugging it?
That could be that could be strategy, man. That could be a mental warfare. Something. I don't believe everything I see.
Yeah, you ain't biting for that. You said you ain't biting for that.
I don't bite on that stuff, man. But it could have been true, but nah. I always think outside the box with anything.
Yeah, yeah. You have to.
They're not gonna Pearl Harbor me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure. For sure. Um, I also heard some good news too with Lorenzo as well. Um, that's gonna be nice.
Yeah, he listen. He training at home. Watch what he do to this kid, man.
Ooh, I'm excited for that fight. Jahai Tucker and my man Lorenzo Truck Simpson. Like, yo, that little like back and forth and the way that Lorenzo just sent them on contract like that, like F
Man,
all this talking.
he gonna match that kid, man.
Yeah.
He gonna match that kid. When fighters train other places, I don't speak on it because I don't get in their business. They got their own thing. But when I know what's going on, I can speak on it. And Truck gonna match that kid.
Mm. Do you feel like when I was talking to him, do you feel like this is gonna put him back into the discussions of like top 15?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah.
So yeah,
This is big because this is a kid that you know, arguably, supposedly supposed to be undefeated still. Um, in the same time, signed to Jay Prince, top ranked fighter. Uh, Lorenzo per se is the B side in this fight, correct?
that's what they say. The kid is signed, so I'm sure they favor the kid.
But in the same time, Lorenzo got a big name as
Yeah,
well. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it kind of weighs in. It's kind of weighs in the same
hmm
kind of. I understand what you're saying. Tell me, what do you think about that fight with them two? You saying to smash them? Do you see? Are you predicting a stoppage?
I don't want to say my predictions, but you'll see.
Yeah,
You'll see.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Just to hear you guys are all locked in.
Oh
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
That's next week.
Yeah. No.
No, my bad. That's in June.
Yeah. I said, oh, I was gonna say, hell no, not next week.
No, no, no. That's in June. I'm
No.
sorry.
Yeah.
June 21st, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. June 21st.
Right, right, right. Um, do you feel like Jahai said it was going to be a massacre? He told me it was going to be a massacre. It's not going to be a fucking good fight. He told me because I told him it's going to be a good fight, and he said no, it's not going to be a good fight.
He'll see. It's not gonna be good for him.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Did Lorenzo tell you
Okay.
about the sparring?
Fight talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did Lorenzo tell you about the sparring and the whole situation of how this
No.
fight got made?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, they sparred. And Jahai said that, he got the better of Truck in sparring and some of the other guys on Rodney Shields' stable. And, he told me that's not true. And instead of going back and forth with him, he sent them a contract. It was perfect. He said that he was one of the names, and he said that shit. This is killing two birds with one stone type deal. And this is how the fight even became what it was. It was going back and forth with negotiations. Jahai wanted more money to fight Truck, and I'm glad that this fight was able to be made. Um, but yeah, what's your thoughts on at least Jahai and what's his capabilities? What does he bring to the table that per se Lorenzo Truck Simpson in his resume right now in the professional rankings hasn't seen?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. You know. He been here a little over a week now, almost 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Spar his ass now and see the difference.
Mm. He's in shape.
And see the difference.
Mm. I like this.
I watched the kid. Since Truck been home, I watched the kid. I never seen him perform, but when I watched him, I was like, "This the kid they talking about?" Nah,
Who not looking past your high? What's a fight that you want to see Truck in?
I don't have no particular, name. Just as long as he stay busy and whatever happens,
Yeah,
he can hold his own.
like like guys like Sugar Shane Mosley Jr.
Yeah, I would love to see that fight.
Right?
Yeah, I would love to see that one.
Yeah, his dad was telling me that nobody wants to fight him, and
He fight 68 or 60.
60, 60.
Nobody want to fight him.
Yeah, he fought at 168 just to fight Gabe Rosado, I believe, and then he went back.
Mm.
But yeah, he's a 60 pounder.
Wow, nobody want to fight him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I gotta. Well, I ain't gonna speak on that, but yeah, I would love to see him in Truck fight. That'd be a good fight.
Mm. So, tell me, Coach, do you feel like now that hearing that a lot of people are working together, do you feel like we're gonna get the Tank and Shakur fight due to what Turkey was talking about? Do you feel like we can make a? Do you think that they can make a deal with everybody together?
I mean, it sound good what they put out on the media, but you gotta hear from the horse's mouth first.
Right.
When it comes from the horse's mouth, then it's a go.
Yeah.
'Cause they
Yeah.
put so much stuff out, you don't know what to believe.
Yeah. Cause like freaking what they doing? He giving Canelo Alvarez $150 to fight Crawford. That's a lot of money.
That's a
A
whole
hundred,
lot.
150 just to fight Crawford.
That's a lot
A
of.
guy that's gonna be moving up two weight divisions. You know, shoot. And I think what he said he wanted like 200 for David Benavidez. So shoot,
Yeah,
it looked like the money's there for all that.
right. Shit is crazy, but I don't know if it's gonna be there once he get done with Crawford. I mean, once Crawford get done with him,
Mm.
you know.
So tell me, what do you think about that fight that now is finally made in September? They actually pushed it up a day. I think it's like the 13th now.
I'm rocking with Crawford.
You rocking with Crawford?
Yeah, 12 round decision, but he gonna dissect Canelo along the way. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? You know how you sit in science class and all right, this is the kidney and this is the lung and this is the Adam's apple. Crawford gonna dissect his ass. I can't wait for that fight.
Will that be a fight that we would see Crawford fight a completely different fight than fought all these other guys?
Yep, a
More on
real
the outside?
a real strategic fight, man. I ain't gonna say it's more on the outside, but don't be surprised if it's more on the inside.
Mm. Some people were saying after watching Canelo fight last week that they wouldn't be surprised if Crawford stops Canelo Alvarez. But you believe that Canelo's beard will hold up?
I think it's beer to hold up. I just don't think his IQ can match Crawford IQ.
Oh no,
No.
no,
Mm-mm.
shoot. Yeah, because now everyone's comparing. Even Crawford was comparing, like from the greats to the greats, from heavyweight, like what matchups he would want to see, and he said he was like me and Floyd,
Oh
me and
man, that'd be a great fight.
right.
Floyd and Crawford, they got their own swag. You know what I mean? Own style,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they both make good adjustments.
Big facts. So, Coach, now when we sit back, right, and we analyze what happened last week, remember when I was telling you that you know, Tank's resume is aging well. After Ryan losing to Rolly, it just shows that Rolly wasn't not just this guy that people could just say I could just go in there and play with him. You know what I mean? He's still a puncher,
Exactly. He can punch. Tank told everybody he can punch.
right?
You know, everybody Tank beat went on to do something big. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Take resume. He got the best resume in the lightweight division.
He's actually at the ultimate height right now after beating Ryan Garcia. Do you feel like, who would you like to see Rolly fight next? You know what I mean? Do you see like him fighting top competition
I
more
would like
and
them fight either Brian Norman or
ooh,
Barrios.
the winner of Barrios and Pacquiao?
Yeah,
Whew. What you think about that fight? Matter of fact, Barrios
I,
and Pacquiao.
I think. I mean, he might be better by the time the fight get here, but Pacquiao look a few steps slower than what he used to look like.
Mm.
His timing is off. His everything is off. But he might look better when he get in shape. But if he get in the ring looking like the most recent videos he posted, Barrios gonna get him.
When you mean by get him, you mean by stopping him?
I don't know about stopping, but he'll beat him. And he possibility he might stop him because he's been knocked out. How many times Pacquiao been KO'd in his career? 3 or 4.
Why do you feel like a 46-year-old legend, obviously, would want to go out and fight for a world title right now and it be Mario Barrios? I mean, you guys faced him, you know, he got stopped by Tank, but then goes the distance with Keith Thurman, and then beats Ugas.
They trying to get somebody back in the picture that can draw and possibly punch and get some of them belts back in control. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So they need somebody. So they probably called him. I need you to come back, man. We got to get some of this shit under control.
To to what? To catapult Mario Barrios' career, or to actually get Manny Pacquiao the belt again?
They probably thinking Barrios is the easiest route.
What do you think out of the welterweights?
We got Barrios,
Norman and Boots now.
Boots, Norman. Yeah, I would say yeah. No offense, but I think Norman is stronger than Barrios.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So this is gonna be very interesting. And Rolly's all in the mix, huh?
Rolly got that punch, man. Whenever you can punch, you can always ride that wild card. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of wild card, I mean that's exactly what the welterweight division has turned into. You know, um, you know, Brian Norman, they had a was trying to make a verbal agreement, to make that Jerron Boots Ennis fight, and he's going to be fighting in Japan in a couple weeks. So they believe that they want to finish that fight and then negotiate to have a Brian Norman and Jerron Boots Ennis unification. Um, but in the same token, you got Teofimo Lopez that wants a piece of Jerron Boots Ennis. It seems like that's the direction that they're going at. But this is what I mean about the wild card. It's like if you don't make these decisions and within weeks, these guys are turning around and going and picking somebody else, or they have an ultimative motive to stir the people to feel like, listen, this person's avoiding, like something's going on, coach. What do you what?
That's the shit I don't like, man. Just make this shit happen, man. Stop spinning the fans, you know?
Yeah. What fight would you rather see Boots in? A Teofimo Lopez fight or a Brian Norman?
Boots and Brian Norman. With all the animosity, both of them full-fledged welterweights, you know what I mean? I would rather see him and Brian Norman.
But then you got Turkey wanting this fight with Tio, so it's like you got this guy that wants all this money, and a lot of people were saying like even Shakur in the meeting was like, I think he needs to do more research in the sport. What fights are good to do because we're seeing a lot of money fights.
Yeah, guys,
We're seeing more money fights right now, but we're not. We're starting to see the less competitiveness. And they
Exactly.
showed last week's fights that that's what
It,
this was.
it looked terrible, man. Looked
Right.
terrible. That show last week was terrible. I didn't even go back and watch that replay. Normally I watch replays. I'll never watch that replay ever again. That's how boring it was.
And and you came into my mind when I was listening to Eddie Hearn and Teofimo Lopez say when after he weighed in how much he rehydrated at, and you used to tell me that he could still make 135, and he rehydrated at 146 pounds, only 6 pounds
See
more.
that? He can definitely make 135 again.
So you're gonna be fighting Jerome Boots Ennis when you're gonna be in the ring at 146 pounds, while Jerome Boots Ennis is gonna be in there at probably a buck 80.
165, 170. And
Yeah,
he
170.
gonna
Let me. Yeah,
steam his ass like a shrimp in 3 rounds.
and that's what you think that is. It's a money grab,
Yep. He know he can't beat Boots.
and there's no competition in whatsoever in that fight. You believe?
Man, he gonna run over that thing. Shit.
Yeah.
I can't even find a word. Words to describe it. Boots is
Now that I'm
strong,
thinking,
man.
yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of gives Tio two big fight opportunities because he'll still hold the belt at 40.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he'll have
He go
some
right back
clout.
down to 40.
Yeah, go right back down to 40 after you lose to Ennis.
Shoot up, take a loss, make a couple million, and go back down and fight at 40.
And say, yo, listen, it was too.